Hey friends, we're back in the shop and today we're going to be unboxing, installing, and setting up for the first run this new Chinese dual brushless diesel heater.
That front fan just increased. That's what you do not get with a non-brushless.
Woo! That sucker is hot, man.
It's still ramping up. Holy cow. That's got more speed.
I had over 2,500 hours on this Vevor 8K all-in-one unit, and now I'm switching to a dual brushless diesel heater. Now I've been running a diesel heater that I have over 2,500 hours on, and iHooToo, Chinese company, sent me this to test out, review. So come along as we unbox, we set up, install, and turn this thing on for the first time.
All right, we'll start with the unboxing. Package was pretty nicely packaged. The foam did get a little damaged, but nothing internally was messed up or damaged. You will see that we got some foam on the fins. We're going to have to take this apart and make sure we get all of that out of there before we heat it up. Looking at the contents inside the box, we've got our exhaust pipe, we've got our intake. I'm going to call this the intake muffler, a little bit different than the Vevor unit. Some very nice wiring. This bag has clamps, zip ties. Here we have the controller, some 3M tape to stick it to something, and a remote. Fuel pump, some nice hard wire. Instructions are in English, fairly easy, good pictures to follow along. If you're looking for the contents of how to hook up the fuel line and put the gas tank to the wall, those are inside of the tank. This comes with a really nice upgraded silicone. They don't all come with that, and another gasket to mount that to a floor. This is pretty thin but fairly strong. Quick look at the muffler. There is foam in it. My Vevor unit did not have foam in it. So let's look at this unit. I do love the aluminum housing. It makes it a little easier to get inside of. This is the unit we're replacing, an all-in-one 8K Vevor with over 2,500 hours on it. So let's see if a brushless unit is worth the hype. 4 screws on the front piece of plastic and another 4 screws on the back, and then it just clamps off. Again, this metal or aluminum housing I do like. It's nice and shiny. It's not super flexible. It's an upgrade, I think, over the plastic. Let's go ahead and get all of the styrofoam off of here because that would smell horrible. Looking at the electronics, the wiring looks really nice and clean. Nothing is soldered. Every wire has a clip, so you can easily take it off. There is a glow plug. The fins look really nice. Fan is smooth. Nice clean casting. Take a quick look inside of the intake and now the combustion chamber. Not sure if they actually ran that. Looks like it was fired once or something. Alright, they say that you should always check the nuts and bolts and screws and glow plugs. So we're going to check and see if anything is loose. And iHooToo, I'm very impressed with this install setup, quality. No screws were loose. Everything was nice and tight. So let's put this back together again. It only goes on one way, so it's pretty simple. Again, easier than your standard Chinese diesel heater. Look really closely here at how much, not much, airflow distance or capacity around the fins, and that is the heater fan. Really is pulling air right across that motor. You need to make sure you install these posts the right way. I left it with the long part of the post up and screwed in the bottom part till they bottomed out. After this, we can go ahead and put the base plate on. I'm not going to be putting this into its final destination yet, so I'm going to be putting this on some 2x4s. Now you want to make sure you get this exhaust pipe clamped on really nice and tight, and to test that, I'm going to go ahead and pick it up because you don't want anything leaking out of that, especially if you're installing this inside.
So I'm going to go in on one of the sides.
After you drill the hole, the trick is to put some kind of wire or rope through there, grab it, and tighten it onto the valve, and then tighten it up really tight. It's the best way to install that valve into the tank. Let's take a closer look at the fuel pump.
22 milliliter arrow going that way towards the plug. Power on, query mode, long press. Says on. It's still ramping up. Okay, now the front fan. That front fan just increased. That's what you do not get with a non-brushless. The motor for this is separate for the motor for that. Oh, it's ramping up more now. Oh, wow, look at that fan. Holy cow. That's got more speed. A lot more speed coming out of that. You can't even hear the pump now over the fan. It's a lot more speed. Woo! That sucker is hot, man.
Comes with a remote with an old school antenna and a slider to protect the buttons. Now this dual brushless controller is unique. It says oil here, speed here. You hit this once, goes through volts. That's your hertz, which is how many ticks of the fuel pump per second. That is the glow plug heat. That is the combustion fan speed. That is the blower fan speed. Then we've got altitude. We've got ambient temperature on the controller and the internal temperature. And then with this dual brushless, we've got eco, we've got standard, then we've got what they call super, and then we've got auto, which is like a thermostat. So those are the 4 settings on it.
I'm very happy with this dual brushless heater compared to the Vevor heater. Now I really like that. I give that 2 thumbs up. This thing I'm going to give 3 thumbs up. I have now routed the combustion intake through PVC to another room. It quiets it down and I'm not sucking air out of the room into the combustion and out the tailpipe, exhaust pipe. This exhaust pipe is unique. There's no smooth spots on it, so it's kind of hard to get a really nice clamp. Remote works well. I do wish I had Bluetooth. Controller works great. I've got probably 6 or 7 feet of wire to place that somewhere. The pump is quieter than on the Vevor. Not a whole lot, especially when the fan is going. All right, we've had this thing set up, installed. I've been working on the video, and I now have over 350 hours on this dual brushless diesel heater. And let me tell you what, I love it. All right, so after 350 hours on this thing, I have questions I want to answer for you. They're questions I'm sure that you have thinking, is it worth getting a dual brushless heater? So some of the questions I want to go over are, is it quieter than the Vevor heater? I would say, yes, it is. It is not silent by any means. The tick, tick, tick
You can probably hear it. I've got this on eco mode, on low, the lowest setting possible. But when I'm in the other room with the door shut, I cannot hear this tick. I used to be able to hear the tick on the Vevor heater from the other room. So that part is quieter. The fan is quieter on low and medium. On high, I'd say it's just as loud, but it puts out more heat. So why would you even want a dual brushless? Well, for one, brushless fans are smoother, they run a little bit quieter, and they last a lot longer. On high, this thing puts out a lot more air flow than my Vevor did. The controls are telling me it's topped out at just over 5,000 RPMs on the heater fan. So your average diesel heater has between a 1 and 6 for settings, or maybe a 1 and 9, 1 and 10. Those are your only options. When you increase the combustion temperature and fuel frequency, you increase the other fan and you can't change them. With this thing, there's 18 different heating options between the fan speed and the combustion temperature. So I really enjoy that part. If you're a nerd, you're gonna have fun tweaking out and playing on the controller. I think this gives you a little bit more ability. If you're in a camper, an RV, a wood shop like mine, I can put it on low, the same combustion temperature and speed of the fuel pump, but I can increase the fan speed. You can't do that on the other one. So I really like it for that. So how do you power the heater? It comes with terminals to hook it to a 12-volt battery, but I hooked it up to this 12-volt LED driver. I could run 2 heaters or some other 12-volt accessories off of this machine. Link in the comments. Does it put out more heat? Right, that is another question you're gonna ask. So it's got fancy fans, a fancy controller, but does it put out more heat? So I have not tested things down to the nearest degree, but in my shop area that I've got plasticed out, I find that it is 5 to 9 degrees hotter in here, depending on the wind, than it was with the same outside temperatures as the Vevor heater. So I'm getting more heat output than I was with the all-in-one Vevor. How is the fuel consumption? I'd say it's on par with the Vevor. I'm getting about 24, 25 hours per 1 gallon on low. And I do have the 3 fan settings on low. That does not change the fuel consumption. I do like that. I now have switched to a 15-gallon tank, so it's harder to tell, but I don't have to fill it up all the time. The install, was it hard? It was pretty simple. You can see me go through. The hardest part was deciding where to put it and how to get it outside of the building. Some cons, I would say it does not come with a muffler. So on the muffler point, I can't notice a single difference in the sound of the muffler or the exhaust while I'm in my shop. But outside, it is louder without the exhaust muffler on it. And this unit does not come with an exhaust muffler. So for me, it doesn't matter. But it is a little louder. You can get an exhaust muffler for under $20 on Amazon if you needed it to be a little bit quieter. So I'm gonna keep this thing running. I'm not sure, I'll probably keep the Vevor as a backup heater, but I am really happy with this thing. I'm a nerd, I like being able to have the extra controls. It was a super easy setup. The aluminum housing, I'm pretty impressed with. There's no Chinese diesel female voice. Most of you are gonna love that. There isn't one yet. That should be there soon. It might sound silly, but I really do miss the Bluetooth setting. I could be in my house and I could see the temperature of the controller, the temperature of the internal combustion, and what speed I had it on. This thing, there is no option yet to do that. I will say that iHooToo's customer service is plus. Every time I had a question, comment, they wrote back in good English with pictures and descriptions. So I'm really happy with them. They said that Bluetooth and the voice should be coming down the road. So is it worth, the final question you're gonna ask, is it worth $200 versus just under $100 now for a normal Chinese diesel heater? I think it is. 200 bucks to get a dual brushless. The fans are supposed to last a lot longer. You get instant speed feedback on the controller, $100 extra, more quality parts, quality build, quieter fuel pump, aluminum housing, dual brushless controls. It's awesome. I'm really happy with the product and the customer service. I love the extra functions you get. I love the controls. It's fun to be able to play with them. There's a lot of things to like about this diesel heater. Check out the links in the description of all the tools, the heaters, and things that I've used for this video, and stay tuned for more videos.